Well guys, the Lakers are still not done making moves yet. Following the failed trade for Mark Williams, albeit the Hornets trying to make it go through yet, having the NBA review it and trying to push it to go through, which is really telling about how they feel about Mark Williams if you ask me. I don't think it'll go through and it likely won't, and apparently the Lakers do too, as they have now picked up a new backup center, that being Alex Len. Maybe not the big name you thought or were hoping for, but does give them more frontcourt depth, more center depth, and in addition to that, they have waived a center with him, that being Christian Wood. I mean, you might have forgotten about him at this point, and I really can't say I blame you for it. Again, had yet to play this season, got hurt in February of last season, then missed the postseason thereafter, and really had no timetable for a return yet. Some light reports said that he might be targeting a late February return, but those obviously turned out to be false. And well, the Lakers kind of decided it for us. They waived him, moved on from him, and likely weren't expecting him to return this season. And yes, it does kind of suck and a little bit tragic, as he probably would have been a pretty good fit for them with Luka Doncic, his former teammate Luka Doncic, playing together in Dallas a couple of years ago, and they actually played pretty well together, with Christian Wood being a floor spacing big, a good 3-point shooting big, and that was the last time he shot well from the 3-point line with Luka Doncic. Then on top of that, being a good lob threat, a guy that could run the floor, and play at both power forward and center. So again, definitely unfortunate, but the Lakers ultimately decided that he wouldn't come back and therefore couldn't help their team. So now they have moved on from him, which was a little bit controversial. Like I referred to before, some fans, and definitely a lot of fans, thought it would be a different player on their team, whether it be a guy like Shake Milton, that was definitely a hot candidate for it, or maybe a guy like Cam Reddish. He hasn't played for their team in about 2 weeks now, but we did find out it was due to him having a child, so congrats to him, but again, a lot of people did think it would either be him or Shake Milton. And well, I was kind of leaning that way too. I mean, with their need for more frontcourt depth, more center depth, I thought they would try to hold out for Christian Wood if and when he could ever come back and maybe help them a little bit, whether it be for 5 games left in the regular season or maybe for a postseason run. I thought they would at least hope for it and try to hold out for it, as opposed to them waiving a guard or a wing, again like a Shake Milton or a Cam Reddish, but they ultimately decided to waive Christian Wood, and they obviously know better than we did. If they didn't think he could make it back, then he probably wasn't going to make it back, and there's nothing we can do about it. So with that being said, what are they getting with Alex Len? Will it be an upgrade for them compared to Christian Wood? Will it be an upgrade for them compared to Jackson Hayes? And what can they do with him? Will he actually be a part of their rotation, their every game rotation? And what will that look like for their team? And well, if you want me to describe him in 2 words, it would have to be traditional center. I mean, between the lack of 3-point shooting, he actually was a 3-point shooter at one time, believe it or not. Back in 2018-2019 with Atlanta, he shot 36.3% from 3 on nearly 3 attempts per game, or about 4.5 of them per 36 minutes. I'm not sure what happened after that point, but he kind of stopped taking them, stopped making them, and really isn't a 3-point shooter or a floor spacer anymore, unfortunately. But then on top of that, not a switchable defender, kind of stuck to the rim and more of a drop coverage guy. Can't expect him to switch onto a guard, let alone even a wing player, and keep up with them. So probably will have to be more matchup dependent in that regard. Not an every game member of the rotation. You know, when they're matching up with a small team like Golden State for example, he definitely won't be out there. That wouldn't really be fair to him. That'll be a lot of switching on defense, which again he really can't do, and simply not a good matchup for him. I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. It's good to have a guy that can play in some matchups, but then again don't really need him, and he won't really expect to play in every matchup. In that regard, it's not a bad thing, but I do wish he were more switchable on defense, and or being a 3-point shooter to help on offense, but he's really not either of those 2 things. But with that being said, even without those 2 things, not being a 3-point shooter or a switchable defender, there are things he can help their team out with. Being a traditional big man, he is a good rebounder, a decent rim protector, albeit not a great one, and a decent lob threat, albeit not a great one again. And beginning with the rebounding ability, probably his best strength in my opinion. On his career, averaging about 5.3 rebounds per game in 17.1 minutes per game, or per 36 minute average, 11.1 per 36 minutes. So in that regard, a little bit above average, is a fairly big and strong defender and overall big guy around the rim, definitely hard to move and hard to box out around the rim, and probably a better rebounder than Jackson Hayes, so probably became their best center rebounder. Wouldn't put him above a guy like Jared Vanderbilt for example, but is one of their best rebounders now, and probably better than Jackson Hayes, especially in regard to defensive rebounding. being in a good position, remembering to box out and put a body on his man, so in that regard he will help them out. Then for defense, again, not a switchable defender but a fairly decent rim protector. Up until this point, has a career average of 1.9 blocks per game per 36 minutes. This season was blocking 2.5 per 36, and overall is a fairly good shot blocker. But keep in mind that shot blocking does not always translate to good defense. I mean, you can be a great shot blocker like Mo Bamba for example, and still be a terrible team defender. And for Alex Len, I put him somewhere in the middle, not being a great defender, nor being a terrible defender, somewhere right in the middle. And depending on the defensive metric you look at for him, he might look like a great defender or a terrible defender. I talked about this in my video earlier today about him, but per defensive EPM is a bottom 10 defensive center in the entire league, but then per defensive box plus minus rating has a plus 2.5 rating, which is very good by the way, along with having a 2.9 rating last season, but overall being a flat 0 rating on his career. So if you ask me, what you should be hoping for him on defense and really expecting from him is simply a matchup dependent player. If you play him in the right matchup, mainly against a bigger, slower team that operates more in the post, then yeah, he probably will be a better bet to be a good defender and give you good value on defense. But then again, if you throw him out there against a team like Golden State, a really motion offense team, a team that plays smaller and hard to keep up with, then yeah, you can probably expect him to not do well on defense. So gotta play your cards right with him, can help you in some matchups, but might hurt you in other matchups. But then finally for offensively, not much here with him, not a real scoring threat, not a real shooting threat like I mentioned, was at one time but unfortunately not right now. And pretty much all you can hope for with him is a good pick and roll partner, and maybe a decent lob threat to come with it. Definitely was a better lob threat at one time, is now 31, so not completely washed out, but definitely not the athlete that he once was. But luckily for him, still is 7 foot with a 7'4" wingspan, and decent athletic ability. Not the best athlete, but can be a solid lob threat, and they kind of do need to have that on the court with Luka Doncic. I mean, other than Trae Young, I'm not sure anyone throws more alley-oops than Luka Doncic. You've seen it during his Laker debut, throwing one immediately to Jackson Hayes and them connecting a couple of times throughout the game. You've seen it back in Dallas with Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, more centers before them, and obviously it's a pretty big part of his game, so anytime you pair a center with him, whether it be Jackson Hayes or now Alex Len, they gotta be ready to catch alley-oops. And well, hopefully Alex Len will get a reburst of youth to help catch them. Again, not a terrible athlete, but then again, getting to play with LeBron and Luka Doncic, that's pretty much a big man's dream. All the easy points around the rim, the dump offs, the pick and roll play, and then again the alley-oops. That's a lot of opportunity for him, and plenty of opportunity playing with LeBron or Luka Doncic, especially both of them at the same time. And to sum it up here with him, I'd say the 3 big pros with him are number 1, solid to good rebounding, about 11 rebounds per 36 minutes on his career. Number 2, decent to good rim protection, definitely matchup dependent but can be a solid rim protector for them. And then number 3, being a good lob threat, at least a decent one at the bare minimum, and that's something that they do need to have with Luka Doncic. Then for the cons, not a 3-point shooter, not a switchable defender, and then fairly matchup dependent in general. But with that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the Lakers' new addition, that being Alex Len, and what he can maybe offer their team, and what he maybe can't offer their team? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.